JuJu, I think that he's doing what he's supposed to do from a PR standpoint. But at the end of the day, his market is, he's worth too much. And if I'm talking to JuJu, just not even from a media standpoint, just a person to person, and it's like, JuJu, you got a chance to potentially go get 13 million a year. Not saying that you are worth that or not, but if that's available, why would you stay in Pittsburgh for 6 or 7 million a year? That just doesn't make sense at all, especially when you weren't even a first round draft pick. You know what I mean? So to me, I hear JuJu saying these things, but I don't think he fully understands the numbers that are going to be thrown at him once he hits the market. And that's the part that changes. I know for me personally, speaking firsthand, like, yeah, if my wife wasn't pregnant at the time of my negotiation with the Steelers, I'm not coming back. I'm gone because the money was going to be that much more lucrative. It was different. Wife was pregnant. A lot of scenarios going on that help, help facilitate me staying here. But for JuJu, it's like, bro, you are young. You don't have anything that's tying you to one particular location outside of just the emotional attachment. But you can't let that emotional attachment cost you $10 million. That's not what we mean when we say hometown discount. Hometown discount is if it's a 2 million, 3 million range, not 10, not 7, nah. And I don't think he fully understands that just yet. But he's doing what he's supposed to do in terms of just continuing to reiterate the fact that he does want to be here. So I appreciate you doing that. But yeah, that money that you about to see, you better not cut. That'd be no different than Hargrave last year. Hargrave wanted to stay. But you think when he got paid to go to Philly, he would have stayed here and took, 15, 20 million left to do that? Not a chance. Not a chance. So we'll see.
What'd you think of the little interview?
It was cool. I don't have an issue with it. It's funny, though. I said, man, JuJu is giving us the full media circuit, doing, the PR. Hey, I want to be here. And it's like, this is actually the offseason where you didn't need to do that. You know what I mean? Like last year you could have done it, but this year you don't really need to do that. You was good. We know the scenario. But it is what it is. I ain't gonna fault him, Just, hey, as long as you stay out of trouble, it's all love.
I don't know if JuJu wanted to do that or not, because you know how those TMZ people just jump up on you?
They pop up on you. Yes.
JuJu's really cool about that. He seems to kind of know the game a little bit. So I didn't know if he actually wanted to be interviewed or not, but I think you're right. Like he played it perfectly.
He definitely did, man. And like I said, he's been very clear and direct in his message throughout. But I just don't see the scenario where the Steelers can pay him remotely close to what he should get on the open market. And I understand the whole, because like I said, it's different for us because we've seen him grow up. We've seen him throughout his career when he was with AB and when he was not with AB. So our perspective of him is a lot different. We're a lot tougher on him because we've seen an AB and we knew the expectations around JuJu once AB left and how that it never really, evolved into that. But for other organizations, they're still looking at JuJu like, dude, you can come in here and be our guy. Like we could use you. No different like the Detroit Lions when they went and got Golden Tate. They were like, yo, Golden, hey, you can be our guy. You know what I mean? Or the Giants, hey, come on over here. So a scenario like that, I just see where JuJu is able to go out there and really break that bank. I don't see the Steelers looking at him the same way or valuing him the same way, especially when you look at the wide receiver room as well. They have plenty of pieces already in-house that they are more than comfortable, going forward with. Whereas other teams, they might not have that in their receiver room. So they're going to be looking and saying, JuJu can be that piece for us. JuJu can be that missing guy that can run routes, can block, can do all that type of stuff. So, yeah, as much as we love him to come back, I don't see it happening, man.
Steeler for life, though. I want my legacy to be in Pittsburgh. It sounded so good. It sounded so great.
He learned from AB. He said, AB made this mistake. I will not be AB. And I like it. You're smart on that.
You're right, though. He didn't really even have to say anything like this.
He didn't.
Because the relationship's fine. We know it's business.
Yes. Absolutely.
AB just went way too far.
He did. He took the shots at Ben, Coach T, Mr. Rooney. He was taking too many shots. Whereas, like, you think about Hargrave, right? Did any of us trip when Hargrave left? No. We said, look, we know you weren't going to get paid like that here. We got Cam, we got Tua, we got Tyson. We're happy to see you get paid. In fact, give us the comp pick as well. JuJu, it's going to be the same thing for you, baby. We won't go to trip. We was going to be up here, JuJu, record-breaking deal, 5 years, $70 million. You know what I mean? 30 up front or 20 up front. We'd be like, yeah, absolutely, man. We're glad you got that deal. Give us an interview. It would have been love.
We'd get a comp pick for him, right?
Absolutely.
Would it be this year?
No, it'd be next year's draft. Okay. So this year, the comp pick will be from Hargrave last year.
What do we got, a third round?
Yeah, it should be a third round. And then more than likely, you're looking at 2 potential third round picks. If Bud Dupree and JuJu both break the bank like they should in free agency, those can be 2 additional third round picks in the following year's draft, 2022. So you can just see how nobody was going to have hard feelings towards JuJu. If JuJu went the route that AD did in terms of forcing his release, now it's different. Now you got to give me the whole PR. You got to give me this whole, oh man, I really love you guys. It's business. I really wanted to be here. But in this scenario, we all understand. And in fact, like I said, a lot of people are going to be over here rooting for you to get paid because number one, they want to see you get the check. But number two, they want the comp pick. So either way, it was going to be good.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people that are saying JuJu wide receiver 1. You guys don't believe in JuJu like this. Yep. And they'll be rooting for him to do that with another team, and then to say to the rest of Steeler Nation that maybe doubted his ability to be a receiver 1, not doubting his ability in general, but saying like, hey, look, told you so.
Because there's a difference between, like we talked about, being wide receiver 1 and being a franchise wide receiver, right? You can be wide receiver 1 on the depth chart, but don't, produce to that level or don't garner that type of attention from a coverage standpoint. And we personally felt that that's what JuJu had become here, right? He was top receiver more so by designation, but not based on attention drawn or productivity. Now, I'm not saying that he wasn't still balling. He still did his thing, but you could just see the difference. And we highlighted some of those things throughout the year. But to me, man, I'm like I said, I'm glad to see the young dude go out here and get what he's supposed to get. I don't want him to take, this crazy discount because he thinks that, hey, I got to do this to keep the fans happy. No. This is a totally different situation. I know you love the fans. Trust me, I know you love the fans. They love you too. But this ain't the way to do it.
Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah. Because this was, a 2-minute little interview. Some random guy popping up on him from TMZ. But it got me hyped. Just I was on cloud 9 the past probably like 24, 48 hours with all the Steeler news. And that's even with me not being like the biggest JuJu supporter in terms of him being a receiver 1. I'm a JuJu supporter, right. Like I said, in terms of his talent and just him as a receiver. I thought he had a really solid year.
Absolutely did.
But man, if we could run
a good bounce back year for him too.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I would love for him to come back. I'd love for Ben to come back, just run it back all in general. So I was pumped, dude. I was pumped. So hopefully this will we'll see through here. Hopefully. But yeah, probably the less likely of the two, JuJu. Like I'm not completely naive when I saw that and was like, dude, I don't know what the numbers are going to be here with the Steelers, what they're offering, and what some other team will be.
Even though I do find it funny, both scenarios, JuJu and Ben. All it's been is just verbal, we want or we don't want, but no numbers have come out of it. But you're way more optimistic about Ben's return, even though his numbers are a lot worse from making it work standpoint as compared to JuJu's. Like, it's crazy. But I understand. It's Ben. I got you.
Ben's been the guy here, dude. But what would be the difference, though? Because what's Ben's potential pay cut? Maybe 7-8 range, and that might be JuJu's difference between Steeler contract and another team, right?
So this is as simple as it is. Regardless of what the average pay is this year, Ben's cap hit is going to be a minimum of $22.5 million. At minimum. That's before he takes any money this year, pay cut or not. So that to me is the biggest difference. JuJu's not going to get $22.5 million that's going to count on the cap this year. He'll get a signing bonus that might be $20 million, but no different than when Ben got his signing bonus. What you do with a signing bonus? All right, we're going to have $5 million to count on the cap this year. I want $5 million on that following year. Let me get another 4, then let me get another this, and you go on your business that way. That's the biggest difference. That's why to me, I'm like the JuJu scenario, if it were to happen, it could. And you can make it work and the numbers would still be way better than what Ben's would be, even if Ben took $0 this year. So that's why to me, I'm just like, it's funny to hear the optimism surrounding Ben and the pessimism surrounding JuJu and his contract when his numbers are actually a lot, more feasible to work with compared to Ben's. But like I said, it's the quarterback. So I got you. I'm with you.
The quarterback. And I think the question of JuJu being paid as receiver 1, 2 versus like a receiver 2 or 3, I think that plays into it too.
Yeah, but either way, let's see. What's the going rate for receiver 1 right now? 15, 17? No.
I don't know. More than that. I mean, Thomas, are you talking about bona fide receiver?
No. I'm talking receiver one, not franchise receiver. We all know JuJu is not in that conversation right now. He's not your Julio. He's not your D-Hop. He's not your Michael Thomas. He's not your Devontae Adams. Those are franchise, 19, 20 a year guys. I don't see JuJu in that.
Who would you consider?
I think he's more.
Oh, my bad.
I think high end for JuJu. Honestly, think high end for JuJu is going to be 15, 16 a year. Like, that's high for him. I don't, because there's still a lot of questions surrounding him in terms of what is he? Is he a true number one? Is he a high end number two? Because of those conversations and questions surrounding him, that's why I think he's going to be capped off in that 15, 16 range compared to your elite receivers, your top tier. They're in that, 17, 18 plus range. I just don't think he's going to be there right now. Now, it could surprise me, but I just don't. But even with that, it still is going to be drastically lower than what Ben's is going to be this year. So once again, that's why I was like, it's a lot more feasible to work with JuJu and get that deal done, but it won't happen because we got to take care of this Ben situation.
Yeah, teens just seems crazy to me for JuJu. Like even if Ben wasn't coming back, you know what I mean? Like paying JuJu in the teens, like I would be way more comfortable with like 7, 8, 9. I don't even know about 10.
I'm with you. If this is Pittsburgh we're talking about, I agree. That's his market. But you're not going to tell me that some,
no, you're right.
franchise with a ton of cap space that doesn't have pieces, they're going to overpay. Man, we saw the Lions give Trey Flowers $90 million, and the man never had more than 7 sacks going into the season. It happens. You know what I mean? And so that's why for me, I'm just like, I know for a fact JuJu can break that bank on the open market. Now, is he worth it? I'm not sure, but it can happen. But even with him breaking the bank, is still, like I said, numbers wise, it's a lot more feasible. It's a lot easier to work with. And from a contract standpoint, because you would be starting new with this contract, if you were the Steelers, you could easily do a deal where that first year is very heavy in terms of the guaranteed money, right? But then think Le'Veon Bell. Now it turns into more of the rolling guaranteed style. So that way it doesn't kill you from a cap standpoint, and you have the flexibility to get out of the deal in 2 to 3 years if JuJu isn't playing up to par. You got those options typically. But now, like I said, with this, it won't because of the contract, because of the cap situation that it already is. You're going to be very hard pressed to do a deal like that for him when you have way more pressing needs that you got to address. But you could just see how, it would make more sense to go that way, but they're not going to do it. And that's fine. That's fine. You pick and choose, and it is what it is. But that's, to me, it was funny, to just hear the optimism around Ben and his deal when that deal is a lot more, nuanced. There's a lot more that's going to have to go into it compared to JuJu.